Hi, I'm Danny Gasparini, and welcome to this segment of Penn Voice. I'm very excited to welcome David Fazio, who is the founder and president of Helix Opportunity. David, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
You and I have been talking a lot before the program started, and this is just such an important topic. And actually, you've got not only some great information, but great opportunities. And I'm really excited to be here on Penn Voice talking about it. So tell our viewers a little bit about Helix Opportunity first, and then we'll dive into some greater detail.
So Helix Opportunity exists to change the dialogue surrounding the business community from legal obligation and civil rights to market opportunity and mutual benefit. Consumers with disabilities are an $8 trillion discretionary dollar economic impact that less than 7% of companies have actually recognized and targeted with measurable efforts to increase material shareholder value. What that means is that companies are being accessible. They're making sure people with disabilities have a means of getting into their premises, using their products. Or
Based on what law is, ADA law is, right? So the basis.
But what they're not doing is not providing meaningful experiences that make people with disabilities feel included along with the rest of their customers. It becomes more of a separate but equal type of experience.
So great, they got them in the building, but are you creating an experience where they'd want to actually shop, stay, experience, spend money, come back?
Right, and that's what my company does. My company comes in and looks at your environment, whether it's a web environment, a physical environment, your products and services, and we teach these companies how to define and design. You define a provocative purpose. What do you intend to provide? What is your purpose for this product, the service, and the environment? And how can you design it in such a way that it engages all of your customer senses? Sight, sound, touch, whatever. That way, the way we choose to receive that experience becomes a matter of preference and not necessity. It doesn't unintentionally stigmatize us by functional limitations, cultural barriers, or language barriers, or things like that.
So you, prior to the show, you talked a lot about this relationship between business and an experience, the consumer, whether they are a person with disabilities or not, having this experience in their store. And oftentimes, they're two different experiences.
Right.
Because of accessibility or any sight, sound, smell. So talk about how Helix Opportunity then wants to marry this experience so everyone comes in and has the same experience or opportunity.
So again, that's what Harmony at Work is basically, and it's about focusing on the experience, not the function of whatever it is you're providing. Because functionality can be done in many different ways, but if I use something in a different way that everyone else uses it, there's a disconnect. We don't have anything in common. We feel like we're being cheated and things like that. So when you first define what you want that experience to be, and you start to design a method of engaging, customers in all these different ways, it resonates with us. And everybody has some sort of functionality, whether it's hearing, vision, and things like that. So we can experience it however we choose to experience, and it doesn't define us as who we are. It just makes us like the rest of our customers, and we can, we have that in common, and we can share in it together.
So I think we should let our audience know why you were inspired to be a part of this community and helping businesses grow in this way. And actually, it's a bit of economic development because, as you said, $1 trillion industry is out there ready to spend money, and no one's capturing that revenue. What inspired you to do this?
So August 2nd, 1996, I had a softball-sized hemorrhagic stroke, which means my brain hemorrhaged, and it left me completely paralyzed, left half of my body, visual deficits, cognitive and things like that. 75% of all disabilities are hidden or invisible. So these businesses largely are unaware that people with disabilities aren't coming into their premises, aren't using their websites and things like that. And, I was contracted to give a keynote presentation for an international travel and tourism symposium back in 2011. And the organizers asked me a couple of really critical questions that I really hadn't thought of before up until then. What does the disability market look like? Do they have any money to spend in the marketplace? Do they travel? Would they like to travel more? And a light bulb went off. Nobody really knows anything about this market. So I started to dig for the data, started to do some research, and found out that it's a huge, lucrative market whose needs are largely being unmet because of this 20-year conversation about legal compliance, the Americans with Disabilities Act, and now the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. It's not about legal obligations. It's not about civil rights. Don't pity us. We don't want your sympathy. Just recognize that we are who we are and allow us to enjoy things the way that we are. There's two different types of approaches to disability, the medical model and the social model. The medical model views disability as a problem to be overcome or something to fix, whereas the social model recognizes that we're just a part of society. So with the medical model, you've got things like screen readers on websites. Companies provide descriptive text for images and things like that because they expect a person with a disability to go out and purchase a screen reader to view their website. Well, if I'm a customer and you want me to buy your products and services, you want me to go out and buy a $5,000 screen reader to do it? That's not going to happen. The social model would think, oh, well, these people are our target market. They're going to be our customers, so we should provide information in a way that suits their needs and in a way that makes them feel satisfied, like they're getting an exceptional experience. So that means audio information in a way that doesn't sound robotic, that can be fun and entertaining and engaging.
So could you give us a real-time, real-life example of a company that you either worked with or something you did? You walked into a place and it gave them some suggestions.
We can talk about the America's Cup. So a lot of these large-scale projects, plans, and events and things like that have to do something called an environmental impact report. And in that report, it's supposed to talk about this. One of the things it does is it talks about socioeconomic factors. How's this going to affect the community and what we're going to do with that community? Well, you've got over 1 million people with disabilities living in the Bay Area alone. And it was a community that was left out of this EIR. And after I read through it a few times, I was also a member of the Bay Area Association of Disabled Sailors. We were heavily involved with the America's Cup and things like that. I recognized that they missed this huge market opportunity, so I gave them several analyses about, look, this is a $544 billion market in the United States alone, an $8 trillion market worldwide. If you do not focus on including all different types of people in the experience of the America's Cup, you're going to miss it. This goes into mobile applications, this goes into signage and things like that. And sure enough, they created an award-winning mobile application that was usable by all people and provided an experience in all different kinds of modalities. Visually, it was heavily focused on imagery rather than words, so that no matter what language you spoke, what comprehension level you had, you could understand the event, the way that sailing was done, the way the race was conducted. You could find your way around the different premises, like the America's Cup Park or the what was the other place? The pavilion and things like that. So it really did meet worldwide needs, and it was fun. I had friends in wheelchairs, friends that could not see, friends that were deaf. We all enjoyed the America's Cup together.
I think that's a great example of, because I wouldn't have thought of an event or a live experience. I tend to go the physical route and thinking about a retail store or a doctor's office or entering, if you're even coming here and being on Peninsula TV. I mean, have we done what we need to be doing to invite all people in and making it a fun and experience and a wonderful experience too? So
yeah, I can break it down even more simpler if we have the time, but there's a bookstore called Powell's Books. They just engaged a mobile app called Meridian. It's a location-based mobile app where you can go inside of a building and it maps it out for you and things like that. Have you ever tried to find a book in a sea of books you're thumbing through them?
Yeah.
You can type in the name of the book and it'll point you directly to it. And at the same time, it'll provide you promotions and all kinds of other information. That's practical, that's fun, that's engaging, and it meets the needs of a variety of different types of functional abilities and whatever. And nobody uses it because they're blind, because they're deaf, because they have learning and cognitive issues. They use it because it's fun, it's practical, and it's engaging.
How might a consumer contact you to find out where are sort of these engaging and friendly businesses that they would enjoy and have a wonderful experience? And how can businesses contact you to have you, I would assume, come in and sort of give them an analysis or some ideas?
So my company does offer consulting services and training programs to deliver this experience. And also, I would recommend that first off, you read the book.
Okay.
Now, on Amazon Kindle, you can download Harmony at Work, The Business Innovator's Guide to Profiting from the Growing Disability Demographic.
Okay, and we'll put the title of that book at the end of this program.
Okay, that's great. So you can do that, or you can contact me via email at dfazio@helixop.com. That's, put that up.
Yeah.
And things like that. I can come out there and just give you a typical assessment and things like that. We can talk about what is your provocative purpose, and we can go from there.
Okay. Well, I do hope that our viewers will read the book. It sounds like it's just an amazing experience for all. And David, thank you for sharing this really important discussion with us here at Penn Voice. And please come back and tell us a little bit more. And we'll see all of you next time.